Podcast zero. I want to tell you guys exactly what this podcast is going to be about. I spent the last 2.5 years, 3 years focusing on myself. I am the focal point of all my content. And I want to get into the podcast and have guests on that will educate you, make you laugh. We can get in the depths of certain creators, why they do certain things, the way that they grew up, the religious upbringing that they were, just anything and everything about a person that you would like to get to know. I already have the next 7 or 8 guests scheduled out. I have people who were fitness coaches. I have people who are just outright like comedians that do off the wall, like surprise you comedy stuff. Content creators that I've made friends with along my path of making content. I would also like to get people I'm not friends with on the show and maybe get to know them through the podcast. The main thing I love to listen to, the main thing I love to see and like absorb from other people is just the way they hold themselves, the way that they present themselves, the way that they just are, and it's all because of the way that they were raised, or it's the way that they were told to do things, and it just to me, people are just interesting in all different aspects. Because if you take someone from New York and put them in Europe, or if you take someone from South Africa and put them in Texas, or it's a whole different world. It's a whole different like genre of people, genre of music, genre of like religious backgrounds, and I want to get to know as many people from different upbringings, different backgrounds, religious beliefs. I want to expand my knowledge on all these different like topics, and what best way to learn it is from other people. That doesn't sound cheesy, does it?
Mm-mm. It sounds Gouda.
I traveled the country a few times, and getting to know people from like the Midwest, California, Texas, New York, Maine, just all these different places. It's just so interesting to see the different cultures around the areas. Getting to know people from who is raised 100% in culture, like Hawaiian people, Samoans, Native Americans, Mexican, Latinas. Like there's so many people who are just encased in their culture. It's really interesting to me. I would love to explore those topics of how it was to be raised in their culture. I know how it was to be raised in mine, but my culture is different than theirs and hers and his and them. It's really interesting for me to listen and hear their point of the story, or their point of view of who and how they were raised. Also might be therapeutic for some people. They don't hardly have anybody to talk with, and just talking and getting things out is really helpful. It does. I know it helps with me. Just talking, just random. Like I really love it when people recognize me when I'm in the streets and we just sit and talk. It's really therapeutic. Can you guys tell me where Hugsy came from? What show he is from? What show he's from? But nobody can name them both.
It's from Friends and from Mario.
Moving on. And Mario. See, for instance, if you ask me, like, who is William Picknell, aka Native Sane, I would tell you, I'm me the best I can be. Like there's a lot of things you could describe who I am. Like I'm a big guy. I'm really big. I'm like 6 foot 12.5 inches tall. And I weigh like 7,622 pounds right now. I'm currently losing weight, trying to get down under 300 pounds. It's gonna take a lot of work. If you ask me who I am, there's so many things. I'm a son, I'm an uncle, I'm a husband, I love anime. I love just like different weird TV shows. I love the basic shows. I love a cappella music. It just, if you ask me who I am, there's so many different things that describe who I am. And that's kind of like the root things of I want to get to know of other people. Also, I wanted to add that I'm a huge movie person. I love watching movies. I love watching like actions and romances and musicals and just like the majority of genres. I love foreign films. Foreign films are really good because their art style to the filmmaking is just so much different than we're used to in the Western world that we're in the United States. Their film their film techniques and their film it's just so different. It's awesome to watch, in my opinion. I love stories, hearing people's stories. One of my favorite things to look at is how I became a meme stories on YouTube. Those are so funny, like where the original memes came from, and the person who it is talks about how they became it and how they formed it. And like, do you have a story like that about yourself? Have you ever became like meme famous, or have you ever had one video go viral and now you never ever can do anything besides that one type of video because that's all people want from you because it became so mega viral that now that's all you do? Like those are the type of stories that I want to hear from other people. Like what's a video maybe you got stuck in a niche? Like you made one video and like your whole entire content was about like said a topic. Like you're here. And then you make one video that's way over here and like letter S or T or like not even close to what your content is. And this one gets like 10 million, 5 million, 17 million views. And all of a sudden now everybody just wants to see this. And you're like, I only made that video once off of a whim, or, but now this is all you're doing and you originally wanted to do this. Have you had a story like that happen to you? If so, let me know. I would love to talk to you and get to know what that is like to you. Because I've had a couple of friends who said that's what happened to them. And it's never happened to me, even though if I make anything that's not weight loss journey, it's not going to get as many views, but I'm not in it for the views. I'm in it for like creating a community for people who feel good to be here, creating a community where we could uplift each other. And one of the things I really, really hate, it's a tough thing to say, and I know it's going to be a hot take, but I hate the positive vibes only. Like I don't, this is 100% positive vibes. Everything's always going to be 100% happy. Everything's always going to be, we're smiling, we're cheery 100% of the time. That's not how life is. I know that's how people portray it on Instagram. I know that's how people portray it on YouTube, but that's not life. In life, you're going to be mad, you're going to be sad, you're going to be, all these other different roller coasters of emotions. And all that could happen just within 5 minutes, not just let alone, your life. So as much as I would like to say, like, positive vibes only, like, you're going to see me, in my ups, my downs. I'm going to show up even if I don't want to. I've said I wanted to do this for, I don't know, what would you say, 8, 10, 12 months?
If not closer to a year, yeah. If not over a year.
Yeah. For a long time, I've said I wanted to do this. That's what I'm starting now. I will be having a partner, but every single episode is going to be with someone different. Every once in a while, I'm going to go in there and just have a meeting with myself, talk to you guys, whoever's watching or whoever's listening to this, and talk to you guys as if we're having a conversation. It's going to be one-sided because you're going to be listening, but you understand, like I'm doing right now. I'm talking to you guys, explaining to you what this podcast is going to be about. I hope I'm not like rambling and you guys like swiped off, or you just stop listening and be like, oh, this guy's weird. Like I am weird. And every once in a while, my passion just gets to me and I just want to explode and I start talking really, really fast. And I really don't believe that you guys have ever seen this part of me when I get so excited that I just start talking and like I feel like I'm doing this with my hands really fast. And that's just like the passion to me of I want to get whatever I'm saying out. And like if you notice my voice goes up more and I don't say ums or ah or I'm saying, type of things. And what I'm talking about when I actually have that passion of loudness coming out. Today's podcast sponsored by water. Not sponsored by anybody, but drink your water. Yes, let me summarize this. I'm gonna have guests on. We're gonna educate you guys on who they are, what they teach, how they come to become content creators, what their goals are, if they're doing anything special right now, like their upbringings, their different beliefs, their, the different way of life, where they're from, and how things might be different from where I'm from, because it's, I want to have it as like a conversation. I don't want to be like, okay, we're going to talk about this subject for 30 seconds or 45 seconds. You know, I have like 100, like I think it was 47 questions right here of random like questions that my followers on my other social medias have. I asked them a while ago, like, give me questions, and I want to ask these on podcast. And I still have these. I can come to these and randomly pick one. Like this one says, what is something about you that people would be surprised to know about you? That's the type of questions that they wanted me to ask. Let's try another one. What keeps you motivated to keep going even though you were in pain every single day? You know, it just that one was directed straight for me personally, because every single day I'm in pain. Every single day I push forward, because in my mind, whether I lay down in bed all day and in pain, or whether I'm up walking around every single day in pain, either way, I'm going to be in pain. But what can I do to get rid of some pain, which would be losing weight? Some of my pain I'm going to have the rest of my life. Some pain I can get rid of by losing weight. So that one was directed straight for me, not for a guest. Like this question, if money was no option, what would you be doing right now? If it was up to me, I'd be going to Denver, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Seattle. If you know the correlation between all that, you should put it in the comments. It's a really cool thing that all of them have in common. But I have questions that I could ask just randomly. Like I have some weird questions that I have in my back pocket all the time that I could ask every single guest. I have questions that, you know, standard questions like who are you, where are you from? But I want to make this as like a conversation, not like I'm interviewing you for a job or anything. It's just I'm interviewing you and putting our conversation that we had online type of thing. It will be growing. I am going to be making content regularly like this. I'm going to have a different background. We're going to try to figure something out with the background. But right now we got these two little guys. They're awesome. I have my little thingy, but it only goes up from here. This is episode 0. This is me telling you exactly what it all is, and I just told you. So I hope you tune in. I hope you like, subscribe, comment, listen to the whole entire thing. If you made it this far, you listen to the whole thing. If you potentially want to be on the podcast, I am going to put the email right here. I don't know, right here, maybe in the description, but email me, message me on Instagram, message me somewhere. I look at messages few times a week, but I check my email all the time. Shoot me a message. I want to get different people, like maybe you have a job that nobody even knew about. Maybe you work in an industry that people see as just terrible, but you enjoy it and it's something that you really enjoy. Maybe you're just you work in a law firm and you want to tell people about law firm. I don't know. Like I want to hear something interesting from your story, from who you are, and I want to tell my audience about you. That was a long pause, and I will be editing that out. Thank you for being here. See you next time. I'll be having a guest. Oh, one last thing. Very, very, very last thing, I promise. So at the end of every episode, I'm going to ask the guest to ask the question for the next guest. One question. It's like the end of every episode. Since I'm the first guest, I don't have anything to answer, but I'm going to propose the next question for the next guest, which is happening soon. The question is, if you had a time capsule and you went back to when you were 5 years old, what kind of toys or items would be in your time capsule box? That wraps it up. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening this far. If you did, I appreciate you. You're amazing. Bye-bye now. See you in the next episode.